Hey YouTube, what's going on? Mark here. Happy Tuesday night to all. Now, I know after yesterday's, somewhat fun night, I said it was who's that? Okay. I said it was, a media. I said we were gonna try it again. I'll have all day and night today to try it again. And it turns out we didn't have too much of a day because apparently I did not go to work today for the energy was just not there for whatever reason. Even though I have been doing a hell of a lot better, improving my attendance, but I just wasn't feeling it today. Along with the fact that I had a little bit of a headache. So, and plus, even if I would have went today, this would have been the only thing on YouTube I would have been posting. But as far as like the other social media platforms goes, if you guys were expecting some additional extra bonus content on the other platforms, then I sincerely apologize. So therefore, but we're gonna go back to the drawing board tomorrow, considering the day after is gonna be a big one. Gonna be a big one. Considering, after we get out tomorrow, we have that huge announcement to make. So, therefore, I hope you guys are ready for that. But tonight, we're here to break down the 2025 NASCAR Winston Cup Series schedule with a little bit of race by race with a little bit of Busch Grand National Craftsman truck in between. So, I'm going to start off with the basics, before we get to the Winston Cup Series. So we're going to start with the Busch Grand National and Craftsman Truck Series. So therefore, at least with the Busch and Craftsman, we get the Rock, North Carolina Motor Speedway back. And even though Winston Cup won't be racing on Easter, we got the Busch Grand National and Craftsman Truck Series racing on Easter. It's a 50-50 chance I may not watch one or both. Who knows? But if I choose not to watch both, then at least I'll have that surprise Easter special coming for you guys. Considering, or if I decide to watch at least one of them, I can actually do both. I could watch one race. I could watch one race in one day and do the Easter special the next day. So therefore, you might get a Easter double feature of uploads. So only time will tell. And if enough people tune into one or both races, let alone show up to one or both races, then maybe it'll convince NASCAR to put the Winston Cup Series back there, which I'll have more details on that in a little bit when we go over the Winston Cup schedule. So, therefore, I know Craftsman Truck is going to Lime Rock. I don't watch too much Craftsman Truck or Busch Grand National no more, but I actually might give that a watch just to see what Lime Rock is like, considering I never heard of that track in my life. I never have, and I don't know what it's like. I never seen it before, so I'll have to give it a watch to see what it's like. So therefore, I know some people are around to go to it, which is really, really cool. And as far as MIS goes, unfortunately there'll be no more Cabela's 250. So next year it wouldn't be making a difference because my dad is not too crazy about going to Craftsman truck races anymore. Because remember back in the day when in the beginning and when I started watching NASCAR, it was Craftsman Truck in June and Busch Grand National in August, and then by 2010 they flip-flop where they switched Busch Grand National from August to June, at Craftsman Truck from June to August, and we only went to the Busch Grand National in August and never the Craftsman Truck. Actually, we did go to Craftsman Truck in June in the beginning, but let's keep in mind what most people don't remember, that of course I'm going to remember, as 10-year-old me would be proud of remembering, because I fell down the stairs in the Lenore house going to the basement the day before me and my dad went to the race. We had a Craftsman Truck, a standalone Craftsman Truck MIS race when there was no Busch Grand National Winston Cup racing that weekend on July 31st of 2004. That was the most random MIS date I ever went to, where they did a green and white checker and we did not get a legit attempt because they wrecked on the restart and that was the end of the race immediately. That's part of why, there's more than just one attempt. They went up to 3 attempts at one point during the Sprint Cup days during the Sandhurst era in Brook Park, and people complained about that to the point where they just took it unlimited. And then, like C-Red TV says, what's the point of having green white checkers regardless if the race is going to end under caution anyway? Which goes to show you, be careful what you wish for because you just might get it. So don't even get me started on the 5 overtime shit show from Nashville, or that horrible, god-awful Chevy Silverado 150 a year ago in the Craftsman Truck Series. But yeah, so therefore, even if we would have started to try to make an MIS return next year, we would only be going to one race, Craftsman Truck. So therefore, no Cabela's 250 next year. I mean, whatever the Craftsman Truck MIS race was called in the beginning, I'm gonna have to look because at least I get to bring that OG race name back. Ah, yes. Now I remember. Now that I actually wants to go check it out, like Kevin LePage. Back then, it was called the Linux Spray on Truck Bed Liners 200, and I basically was mistaken. That last lap wreck was not in a caution restart. I was green white checker. I thought that's how I remembered it the best, but no, it was already green flag all the way to 2 laps to go, and they took the white. I remember the crash happening, but it was like after when they were coming to the white flag under green flag conditions, they wrecked it up. And they didn't throw the caution until Travis Quappo came off turn 4. So, yeah, that happened right in front of me. I was 10 years old, and me and my dad went to that race. That was like one of the most random MIS races ever. So, at least we get that race back. But who could forget the Carnage No Fans MIS Linux 200 when John Hunter Nemechek should have won that race on my best friend, former neighbor Jenna Villanueva's birthday, but Grant Enfinger decided to be a dumbass and fuck that all up. But then here came Zane Smith to the rescue. I became a fan of mid-season because of how damn good of a Craftsman truck driver he was, and I eventually got the race win diecast because of how much it meant to me being a regular of MIS, considering, how upset and bummed I was. I couldn't be there to celebrate the win in person, considering that MIS weekend allowed no fans in the stands, but anyway, the last thing I was like, have say my Busch Grand National or Craftsman truck thing on. Why the fuck do we have a fall Talladega race in the Busch Grand National Series? Like, Aaron's 312 is already special enough, Don't even get me started on how C-Rad TV feels about having 2 Charlotte Oval days, which I'll get to in a little bit. I feel the same way about Talladega having 2 dates in the Busch Grand National Series. Like, keep it with just the Aaron's 312 and that's it. Like, Talladega does not need 2 Busch Grand National dates, especially after the bullshit that happened in 2021, which they did take it away for like a year maybe, but then I guess, all the low attention span fans, complained and wanted it back. So guess what? They gave it to us back. I mean, they don't override the majority. I mean, nobody outside of those dumbasses wanted a second Talladega Busch Grand National race. So Aaron's 312 in the spring was just fine. So, the old saying, stick with what works, and if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Well, there's my little rant of the night, let alone video. So I hope this is the last year of this fall Talladega Busch Grand National experiment, and I hope it fails again. That way they could just take it away and keep it that way forever. Now, on to the Winston Cup schedule. Okay, I had to change the camera angle because my legs were getting tired from sitting up like that. So, therefore, let's start off with race by race in whichever order I can remember off the top of my head. So, we start things off, with the Bud Shootout, getting away from the LA Coliseum, going to Bowman Gray. All I can say is, thank the Lord they got away from that whole horrible-ass Coliseum, because that was probably the sorriest race they ever had on the schedule in all of mankind. I mean, in 2022, I decided to give it a chance, to see what it was like, considering, in recent years of the last of the Daytona Clash on the Oval, nobody was showing up and not enough people were tuning in. I was tuning in, obviously, but I was like one of the only few people that gave a shit about it. And we all know the straw that broke the camel's back was that 2020 demolition. The first half of that was a snooze fest, which we all know for us as an Austin Dillon fan was the Kelly Berglund birthday miracle, because I was on Kelly Berglund's Jeff Gordon 24th birthday. And I remember it was a snooze fest in the beginning, and then when Kyle Busch and Logano got together and hit the wall, that's when all hell broke loose, and everybody in the grandma crashed out or just had a finish race with heavy crash damage, and the only undamaged car and all that was us, the 3-car of Austin Dillon, and he had a legit shot to win that shit, and I was freaking out in the basement and going crazy thinking he was going to get it on Kelly Berglund's birthday, and I was about to make a birthday post of the 2020 Bud Shootout winner, Austin Dillon. Happy Jeff Gordon 24th birthday, Kelly Berglund, or something like that. Still came away empty-handed, and Eric Jones in a beat-up car took the victory. And then we went to the Daytona Road Course to see if anything would, get better. We knew that was, yep, that was Kelly Berglund Miracle, Birthday Miracle Part 2, because it was on February 9th again, and the Spurs played the Warriors the same day. Only reason why Ty Dillon was in the 23 car, because I think he was a stage winner from the year before, and because he, remember, that was his last legit shot to win a Winston Cup race. His first race with Germain Racing before they shut down at the end of 2020 was the Roval, which I'll get to that a little later. And once again, they couldn't close the deal. Got spun out midway through the race after winning stage one, and then when he tried to do a strategy call to get back in the race, because he knew a caution was coming. He was trying to pit before the caution came out, but he didn't make it to the commitment line. The pits were deemed closed, but the caution was out before he got to the line, so that kind of ruined his chances. But he found a lifeline with not Bubba Wallace's current ride by going in the Bud Shootout on the road Daytona road course. Since he was eligible because he won a poll, so 2011 let him have that car just for one time, and I got to cheer for him. And of course, he and his brother were nowhere near a factor, and the Spurs got blown out by the Warriors, which that was a Warriors Spurs 2-day double feature, because remember during the NASCAR COVID season in 2020 and the NBA COVID vaccine season in 2020 2021, no fans, the benches had to be social distancing, the fake crowd noise, the fake the manufactured arena sounds, and then limited capacity of fans started to come back. And so in the races in 2021, they started doing that too, and allowing full capacity races in some tracks, and what was I gonna say? That Bud shit on 2020. Oh my god.
Stop it. Get some help.
Okay, yeah, the Bud shootout in 2021 on the Daytona road course. Yeah, that was a failed experiment too, and the Spurs got... Oh, yeah. Okay, though the NBA vaccine season was also mired by two teams playing back-to-back games in the same arena and this back-to-back nights. So that 2020-2021 time period was like the weirdest but most interesting time period in our lives. I'd be being selfish if I said that for speaking for myself and myself only. It was like that for a lot of us. It gave us a lot of good things, but it also took away a lot of stuff we had pre-COVID and, changed it completely or eliminated it from the picture altogether. But then a lot of people we at least expect that would die ended up passing away. So therefore, I don't want to make this a tangent about life in general, about in terms of, mutating topics from these races, but then they went to the Coliseum in 2022, and because it was the first year, and, it was like a first time thing, my shoulder's killing me. Hold on. Okay, sorry. Hold on. Please bear with me, guys. Okay, hang on. Okay, this should be better. All right. So that first year magic actually worked, since a lot of new NASCAR fans were coming in, a lot of like pop culture artists like from hip hop and rapper never watched NASCAR, never been a fan of it, or never been to a race. I actually enjoyed it. And then 2023, I don't even know what to say about that, honest to God, considering it was a hot field caution. Caution. It was a hot caution-filled mess, and too many wrecks. It was like people driving like idiots. Even my driver was part of that too. And driving like they didn't know how to. They've never driven a race car before. And then 2020, that whatever went wrong in 2023. Outside of that, yeah, that's by 2024 when we took that San Antonio trip to see the Spurs play in person, which the race was held the same day instead of the day after. Yeah, that was when the Coliseum ran its course. So therefore, considering the huge ass monsoon storms that were about to hit LA the day of the race was supposed to be held, NASCAR moved it up a day sooner just to beat the rain, and they called off the concerts because of it, because they were in a rush to get it done. And they made the right call, because by the time they got out of there Sunday and it was time for me to leave San Antonio to come back here to Ohio, but Yeah, it poured and stormed like a mother down there. So NASCAR made the right call. So hopefully this Bowman Glacier ends up doing good. I'm actually gonna watch it just to give not the race a chance, but wait a minute, wait. I would give Bowman Gray a chance, but here's the thing though, it's not a Bowman Gray problem. It's a Bud shootout problem. I said after 2023, going into 2024, that for me the Bud shootout lost its luster for me, and so to the point where I just don't give a shit about it. So if I didn't feel that way, I would give Bowman Gray a chance. So yeah, I'm just skipping the Bud shootout this year, and but I'm gonna be skipping it for the rest of my life as long as I can remain a NASCAR fan, because I just don't have the passion for watch that anymore. I just lost its luster for me, just like the NBA All-Star game. It just lost its luster for me. I just don't seem to give a shit about it anymore. So I don't even see a point in watching it, even if a San Antonio Spur made it there again. So I don't see any excitement in it anymore like I did as a kid and a teen on Lenore and Sandhurst and the beginning of Sandy Ridge, as we call OG Sandy Ridge. I feel the same way about the Winston All-Star race. I mean, but tangents aside, but okay, now for the rest of the Winston Cup schedule. The Daytona 500 will be held a day after my birthday this year, after I turned Mike Skinner, Robbie Gordon 31 years old, because on my Mike Skinner, Robbie Gordon 31st birthday, we got the Napa 300 Busch race. So what if it's like 2021 again and we decide to watch them racing on my birthday? It'll be like 2021 all over again and 2020 at the same time, and I'll tell you why. Because in 2020, we raced the Napa 300 on my birthday, my Todd Bodine 26th birthday, and Noah Gregson, who I became a fan of the year before, after his devastating defeat in the truck championship in 2018, picked up the victory in an overtime, and I don't know, I don't think it was overtime, it was regulation, it was under caution because I wrecked in the back on the back straightaway, and the race started and ended the daylight, which is surprising as far as recent memory of recent day 3 years goes, as far as racing at Daytona in February. So yeah, that was a good birthday present. So therefore, and then 2021, it was not on my birthday, but it was I'll tell you what it means on so to me in 2021 again. I mean, since it's gonna be my birthday this year, me and my family could go out to dinner on my birthday this coming year for my Robbie Gordon, Mike Skinner 31st birthday. I could come home in a timely manner and turn on the Busch Grand National race and watch it on my birthday. Maybe if I still have a favorite driver in Busch Grand National next year, they'll pick up the victory and give me deja vu from 2020, give me a good Mike Skinner, Robbie Gordon 31st birthday present. And just like in 2021, me and my whole family went out to Olive Garden for my Kirk Shelmerdine 27th. We came home just in time for the Busch Grand National race, and Austin Cindric picked up the victory. So therefore, the week after that is the Cracker Barrel 500 at Atlanta Motor Speedway. So they're getting the two demo derby shit shows out of the way first thing in the season, like they did this year. Except this coming year, unlike this past year, this coming year, we won't have some Crash Lana movie to pump this shit up like we did earlier this year. Well, not this seasonal calendar, but earlier in the calendar year in 2024, 12-month calendar year, when we said goodbye to Murray Ridge and we decided to YouTube it to promote the Cracker Barrel 500, and considering how excited I was, to pump that shit up. So, and because we won't have like an old, day program full of, former friends, saying goodbye this time. So we won't have that this time. So it's going to be a whole lot tamer that next year compared to how we got this season. So therefore, it's not going to be as quite crazy this time. So it'll be the week of Haley Arantia's birthday, since her'll be her Mike Skinner Robbie going 31st birthday by then too. So yeah, it's going to be fun. So the next race is Coda. I will be skipping that too because I hate that track too. I mean, they did a hell of a lot better job this year with not make sure it was not a repeat of last year by moving the restart zone so it could prevent from what everybody was complaining about in 2023. But that's what I thought it was going to be this year, and it turns out I was wrong. So I might hate that track, but that's why I decided not to watch this year, because I thought it was just going to be a deja vu of last year. But maybe next year I might try to watch it just to see if it'll be a copy and paste of how much better this year was. But we'll have to see because but then the week after that, I think, is the Subway Fresh Fit 500. That kept its same exact race weekend because if here's the thing though, I'm only gonna watch Coda if we don't get some preseason spring weather next year like we did last year, because keep in mind when because the week after the Subway Fresh Fit 500 is Viva Las Vegas this year, I believe so, and around that time, around after that, I think the week after that is Homestead, the Ford 400, because my sister's birthday is the Ford 400. My sister's birthday is the Ford 400. My sister's birthday weekend, I should say, and that race takes place on the birthday of the 26th birthday of my favorite song, "Livin' La Vida Loca" by Ricky Martin, which this year was Bristol. This year was the Food City 500, which is going to be Mother's Day weekend. So I think it's going to be a borderline lesser chance of rain compared to being its original March date, but we'll have to see. But Phoenix, usually Phoenix is the weekend of Marco Ferrago's The Love Doctor's birthday, which this would be his Greg Booty Biffle Sweet 16. And usually the same weekend is not only Daylight Savings Time, where we spring ahead, but also the Winter Wonderland season finale in terms of winter production on YouTube and TikTok, in which that weekend will be the season 4 finale of Winter Wonderland. And the weekend before, when we go to Coda, then we will have maybe if we get some preseason spring weather like we did this past year, then yeah, we're probably going to skip that race just to record some preseason episodes of Spring is in the Air. But it just depends on what the weather gods say, and this year goes to show you every year is different, and whatever we get next March will prove whether some years are the same and or every other year is different. So it's only a matter of time. You just can't predict those things. But I know March 16th will be the UAW Daimler Chrysler 400, and with Coda, being on the date it is this year, it'll be the auto show weekend when we go to Coda. So therefore, the Virginia 500 and the Carolina Dodge Dealers 400 are in back-to-back weeks after my sister's birthday. So they moved the Carolina Dodge Dealers 400 to mine and Julie's, anniversary, April 6th. So our anniversary is April 2nd. So the Carolina Dodge Dealers 400 throwback race is April 6th, and the Virginia 500 this year is March 30th. When we're getting close to the official premiere of season 4, Spring is in the Air. So that should be a hell of a time period to look forward to. And then we have the Easter break for the Winston Cup Series. With that Easter special I have planned for you. It's a comedy skit. It's the only hint I'm giving you. I'm not going to tell you what we're going to be doing in that, but you're in for a treat. And I have an April Fool's Day special coming, right before, in between the Martinsville race and the Darlington race. So I'm not going to tell you what it is or who's going to be in it or what's going to happen or what the April Fool's prank is going to be. You're just going to have to wait and find out for yourself when we get to season 4, Spring is in the Air, whenever it decides it wants to start, or if the weather gods decide to give us a preseason, prepare us for it. And then when we get to the closing stages of season 4, Spring is in the Air, come April 27th, which is mine and Zach Attack Barnhart's best friend anniversary, we got the Aaron's Dream Weekend at Talladega, with the Aaron's 499 taking place on April 27th. And then let me see here, let me see how many years will it have been since 2010, the 14-year anniversary of Memorable Dream Day, and Preston plays, Mike Skinner, Robbie Gordon, 34st birthday. We got the Samsung Radio Shack 500 at Texas Motor Speedway. So therefore, it's something going to be just as bad of a wreck fest this year as it was this coming year as it was this year during the Spurs regular season finale. So God help us all. Brace yourselves, everyone. The last two races on Fox will be the Kansas race. Let's see how much of a banger that one will be to keep making it 3 years in a row. We get a banger. The photo finish, that which sadly beat the Craven Busch. Darlington photo finish is the closest finish in Winston Cup history. And then the year before with the Brett Bodine wanted to be putting Larson in the wall, and then Gregson and Chastain giving us some booty barker action from the Price is Right in the pits. So that'll be the last points paying race on Fox, and for 2025, and then we got the Winston All-Star race at Wilkesboro. So therefore, I'm most likely skipping that anyway because like I said earlier, the Winston All-Star race for me lost its luster by 2019. It already started losing its luster like after 2016. 2016 was the last, because no. 2014 was the last good Winston All-Star race, the last full year we were on Sandhurst. And then by 2015, yeah, that's when we started getting, in Charlotte, when we last few years there with Charlotte, 2015 through 2017, we were getting boring-ass All-Star races to the point where the Winston Open was a hell of a lot better. And then 2018, we had the Super Speedway package that everybody wanted. Well, they got what they wished for, and to me, I personally enjoyed that, but I still wasn't a fan of the package. At least, it made the racing a hell of a lot better than the previous 3 years. And that was the weekend we went to Cat Crevda, my sweet pumpkins, Hermie Sadler 13th birthday bash the next day. That was supposed to be on the night of the Winston All-Star race, and I was willing to skip it to to make her happy, to go to her, celebrate her birthday. We're at that, place where we celebrated, got her birthday party room on that night. But since the room was taken the night of the Winston All-Star race, that's when we had to move it to the next day. So we got to watch the race, not have to worry about anything, and we got to go to the party the next day. And that previous Friday, we celebrated JoJo Siwa's birthday by doing a Spicer off. My phone was charging in my area, because keep in mind, this was during the Murray Ridge days, post La Vida Lab Rats, and my phone was charging in B2. We were in D4, and we were having karaoke because, the late, great Joaquin Page wasn't there. So, therefore, some of the fun stuff we couldn't do in D4 because he would always say no to it. But since he had a sub that was really, really cool, she let us do karaoke. And I said I wanted to pitch in and do a Ricky Martin song. I originally picked El Amor de Mi Vida, but I changed my mind last second. And I wish my phone wasn't on charge. I wish I hadn't used it for most of the day, because guess what? Had I had a used up enough battery, even if it wasn't 100, I would have recorded it and sent it to JoJo Siwa. I performed the Spanish version of Living La Vida Loca by Ricky Martin, and at the end, after I signed off with the song with the Gotta La Vida Loca part, I said, "Happy birthday, JoJo Siwa." But stories and tangents aside, again, yeah, that'll be the last race on Fox. Point Spring race, Kansas, and non-point paying race, let alone race in general, Winston All-Star race. Then we switch to the Amazon Prime video part of the season. Okay, so Amazon Prime starts with the Coke 600 on Memorial Day weekend. So I don't even know if we haven't have a subscription for that. Well, I'll have to have my mom and dad check and see if they can pay for that. That way I can actually watch the races. And then we get June MIS back. We get the Sirius Satellite Radio 400 back, and we get the Pocono 500 back. And then in between Sirius 400 and Pocono 500 on mine and Aaron Krause friend-iversary, exactly that day, we get NASCAR in Mexico for the a foreign date for all things on the old MIS June Father's Day date, which on Father's Day this year, my dad might decide to go to Cedar Point that day, so it's looking like that I won't watch that race because of Father's Day. Or if I have to go see Aaron Krause and Sandy Ridge, if she happens to bring Madison or Jacob here, whoever, but whichever one of the two, or simply both. One to hang out at the Bakers, one to hang out at the Farragos, but I'll just have to wait and see what happens then. And then after that, we get the Napa 500, not only in the middle of the summertime, but we get it at nighttime too. So there's a good chance I might go outside that day first, and then I'll come inside and maybe tune into that and, see how exciting that is, considering the one in 2023 was that night that was rain shortened when we did the Brook Park docuseries over by Sandhurst. So yeah, who could ever forget that? We get to have that experience again, but this time we get to watch it, and hopefully this time it won't fucking rain to the point where it gets cut short due to rain. And then at Napa 500, we'll kick off the TNT portion of the season, which the return since the last full year on Sandhurst. So speaking of Sandhurst, and then to no one's surprise, the only thing that remains the same, one of the things that remains the same is the Chicago Street Course. Hopefully this will be the last fucking time we have this, street course. I mean, I wouldn't say it's an abomination. I was going to say that, but that would be like a poor choice of words and a very poor way to describe it. But to me, if it rains this year again at Chicago street course, I mean, to the point where, the Busch Grand National race this past season's proved Chicago street course, let alone street racing, can work in NASCAR, whether it be Winston or Busch, if done correctly, where it's dry weather conditions, it's not wet and raining. I just hope when we have the 4th of July Block Party in Sandy Ridge next year, while they're racing the Chicago street course, and whenever the Sorgs, Rogers, and the Resbecks decide to hold it, however the 4th of July calendar blends in 2025, that they get a dry Chicago race. So, because if we don't, then I guess that means time to, because, they'd have the right to opt out of the contract after 2025, and we can hopefully get the Tropicana 400 at Chicagoland Speedway back. And then guess what's the next weekend when me and my dad are going to home days to record episodes of the documentary called Sandhurst Stories? Yeah, you guessed it. While we're away, we're gonna be there. While we're away at Brook Park, there we got the Dodge Save Mart 350 at Sears Point, where it's going to be hot as balls down in Sonoma, California. So I feel bad for all the fans that have to sit in the Sonoma Valley and throw that 90 plus degrees sun and heat. But so good luck to everybody there while we're having fun with our old friends and neighbors at home days that continue to grow each and every year, and continue to get married, have children, all that other bullshit, and all that whole shebang, like Ricky Martin. The week after the Sears Point race, then we got the MBNA Platinum 400 at Dover, when we kick off the second half of season 5 of Fun in the Sun. And season 5 of Fun in the Sun will kick off when they're going to Nashville that weekend. After the Coke 600, then we conclude season 4, Spring is in the Air. And then after that, NBA Platinum 400 TNT ends their portion of the year with the Brickyard 400. So with the Brickyard 400 and TNT is a must watch. So even if it's 80-some degrees, I will be watching it to see how well TNT does the first Brickyard 400, and see if we can get a really interesting winner, even if it's a stupid winner. So only time will tell. Then we go back to the NBC portion like old times from 2015 through this year. So it kicks off at Iowa, which I think might be a Sunday night race. I could be wrong, but the Chevrolet Monte Carlo 400 is the 16th, I believe, and I think the weekend of the Cord Fest will be the Sirius satellite radio at the Glen. So therefore, MIS. So there will be no more GFS Marketplace 400. As far as Richmond goes, we lost the Pontiac Excitement 400 from Mexico. And then we got the Pepsi Firecracker 400 is back at its regular season finale date on my mom's birthday weekend. So now we shift gears to the 2025 Chase for the Cup. The Sharpie 500 it's still retained its normal spot as the finale of the round of 16. That'll be the closed out race. We got the Mountain Dew Southern 500 back as the Chase opener, and that'll be in the middle of the End-of-Summer Explosion. It's going to take place on the day of the summer finale, the season 5 finale of Fun in the Sun. We got Gateway in this as the second race of the Chase, so a Gateway of the Chase race. So here's the thing. You guys got to keep in mind. If somehow NBC misses the fiery explosion behind the backstretch cat fence and the first pace lap, then I guess that'll prove it's not a Fox problem. It's a NASCAR media problem. So NBC, I'm counting on you to capture that next year, because if you don't capture it and end up missing it like Fox did, then that proves that Fox was not the problem when it came to capturing that. So, I mean, we've seen crazier things happen where it's a surprising outcome, but you just never know. And my only gripe about the Chase is, one, the Charlotte Roval has run its course. I know they're not, if you can't bring back the UAW GM Quality 500, which I know C-Red TV is not a fan of, which I personally prefer that. I want them to come back, but we all know that's not coming back. But I do want the Roval gone. I mean, NASCAR eventually will be getting rid of it at some point. You know they're going to, because they're going to hear enough fans complaining that the Roval overstayed its welcome, and it's like run its course and lost its luster. To me, like I mentioned before, it lost its luster for me after the 2021 Harvick Elliott drama. So 2022 was, we all know how much of a shit show that was to end it after it was a bore fest in the beginning. And 2023, I don't even want to know. So if the Roval happens to be a stinker this year or next year, I think if you can't bring back the UAW GM Quality 500 in 2026, then I highly suggest, if enough people show up or tune into the 2 races at the Rock this year for Busch Grand National Craftsman truck, put Rockingham in place of the Roval. That way we can have the Pop Secret Microwave Popcorn 400 back. So there. And then also on the bright side, with New Hampshire in the round in the back of the chase, at least we get the Sylvania 300 back. So the only thing I have a gripe is, another thing I have a gripe, besides the whole Roval out thing, why the fuck is the EA Sports 500 at Talladega in the round of 8? So you're basically going to have a 20-30 car pileup, a dozen or so cars getting torn the fuck up, and a stupid winner, let alone an airborne crash, whether it's a blow over, side over side, end over end, or a catch fence, or someone goes into the catch fence to decide, who's going to be in the Final Four at the Check Auto Parts 500 at Phoenix, when me and my dad and, my dad's brother's wife's cousin, Dennis, go to Phoenix, the championship race. So therefore, with the Homestead being, my sister's birthday again, like it was in 2021, and it should have been in 2020, if not for the pandemic. Well, let's just hope this will mean it's only a one-time thing, only a one more time thing, considering it's happened before, considering 2021 made up for 2020, to the point where it just, after this next March's Homestead race takes place, it means they'll have enough time to set up renovations for it to be the championship finale again, like old times. So therefore, hopefully this will be if next year in 2025 will be the final time, it'll be the Phoenix will be the championship race for the Checker Auto Parts 500, then at least I will have the badge of honor saying I got to go to the last championship race weekend at Phoenix before they put it back at Homestead in 2026. And me and my dad and Dennis decided to go back to MIS in 2026 and, hopefully, get our old seats back. But it's 100% chance we'll go back, but it's like a 50% chance we'll get our old seats back, where we don't have to worry about people in front of us. We can go underneath that bar. We can just walk through that opening right there. So therefore, we're with the EA Sports 500 being in the round of 8 next year, that's just one step closer to potentially the EA Sports 500 being the championship finale. Please, dear Lord, don't let that happen. So therefore, the Ford 400 goes back to being the championship finale in 2026. I'm all for it, if that long as that means we get to go to the final Phoenix championship race weekend. Guess what? If that happens to be the case, then I guess missing Halloween and next season will be totally worth it when we get to season 5 of Adventures in Autumn and get ready for season 5 of Winter Wonderland come December 2025 going into January, February 2026, but that's a long ways away, so it's neither here or there. We'll cross that bridge whenever we get there. So therefore, that's pretty much all I have to say about the schedule breakdown. So be on the lookout for that announcement video tomorrow. So I'm going to get some more Coke to wash my mouth out, soaking in some more, because I've done a lot of talking here. I've been going on too much rambling about this 2025 Winston Cup schedule in many different parts. So have a good night tonight and a better day tomorrow. Take care, everyone. Good night. See you all tomorrow for the announcement video. I mean, everything's going to remain the same, but you're going to love what I'm about to bring tomorrow, in terms of the channel going forward. So I apologize for not having much of a day or much to give you on other social media platforms today, but tomorrow we're back to the drawing board, and we will hopefully go out in Sandy Ridge and have another nice, warm fall, early afternoon, and then a nice, chill, cool, below average, partially warm, teeny bit cool evening before it's time to park the bus at nights and come 8 o'clock. And don't forget, the Sandy Ridge finale is around the corner. Winter Wonderland Season 4 is around the corner. So it's coming. Christmas is around the corner. A possible Stanley Ridge walk-off finale as redemption from last year's Mild Cold is around the corner. And Thanksgiving season with, whatever my family has planned for the Thanksgiving on my dad's side, and of course Mae Walsh's Friendsgiving. All that is around the corner, along with all the upcoming sporting events I'm about to go to support my friends. The remaining football games I'm about to go to, one baseball game, all the hockey and basketball games I'm going to go to this winter. We're about to have a lot of fun. There's going to be more parties this winter, to go, to attend. We're going to hopefully go to a Christmas party at the Kinsman's. We have Gavin McMullen's Christmas party as redemption from 2022, as long as, the weather's not horrendous again like it was 2 years ago. Or, hell, we have Allison Smith's birthday party, in December. So a lot to look forward to this current fall season going into winter. I'll have more details on that in tomorrow's video, so you won't want to miss it. And stay tuned Thursday for mine and Julie's update video and the Watkins Glen preview on Friday after we come home from work and, are finished getting ice cream at Dairy Grove with my mom. And Saturday's plans are to be announced, but Watkins Glen, we're going to try to invite Julie over. We're going to try to get a hold of, because she called me earlier today when I was sleeping in, but I tried to return her call. She didn't answer, and I did respond to her text, but if she calls me at work tomorrow, then I will tell her. If I'm in class, I'll say, give me a second, I'll talk to you after class, and have to run in the corner because we can't go outside to take calls, even if they know where we're at, and we can't even go to the bathroom no matter do it, which is bullshit. And a certain idiot that at my job knows it, but he don't give a shit. But anyway, but that's neither here or there. So we'll make plans with Julie about Sunday when we have the return of Montoya, and then we're gonna go from there on Tuesday the 17th and Saturday the 21st. So a lot to look forward to the rest of the week, going into a little bit of next week going into the next weekend. So see you later, everyone.
This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of NASCAR Broadcasting. NASCAR would like to thank all of our fans for your support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.